Good evening, everybody. Mike and Wendy here. And Wendy apparently was not quite ready. you, you good?
I am ready. I'm
Okay.
ready.
I mean, you with the yawn and everything, I didn't know. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So, hey, we're Mike and Wendy. Um, Going inside marriage tonight, as you may have seen on the post. I don't know where it's going. And that's sometimes dangerous because when we don't know where it's going, Wendy might end up going anywhere. So, and for those of
I'm
you
not
who
the
know,
one.
you know how it goes.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
um, but
Mhm.
hopefully, by the time it's all said and done, we will have discussed something that maybe helps a little bit, maybe informs, enlightens, inspires, encourages. And I thought I'd stop there. I could do more
Uh.
in words, but I won't.
Wow.
Anyway.
Exactly. And I'm the one. Who knows where I will go?
Anyway, wow,
Yes. Ooh.
that's something. So
Um,
so yeah, before we get started, I think we need to
hey, Dexter Pagans.
Dexter Peggings, what's up, sir? Um,
Yes.
no, just gonna again shout out our Weekend to Remember team. We had a meeting,
Oh,
kind
yes.
of kind of what really is our last formal get together with the team,
Mm-hmm.
and so um, had that last meeting this past weekend. Just a phenomenal group of people, a phenomenal bunch of couples who have really just helped us tremendously and been a blessing to couples
Yes.
in the CSRA. And that's just where it begins. I mean, it goes really, nationwide, for some worldwide, but just phenomenal group of people. And I'm gonna try to list them. Well, I can't list them all,
Yeah. Go ahead.
but we'll go. Okay. So there, Jeff and Deb Hill,
Mm-hmm.
Daryl and Tara McAdoo, um, uh, Pete and Texas Kate's,
Yes.
um, Norman and Cynthia Fountain,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Horace and Judy Carney, um, uh, the Washingtons,
Charles and
Charles
Mary
and Mary,
Washington. Uh-huh. Thomas and Tiffany
Thomas and
Stokes.
Tiffany Stokes.
Mhm.
I was getting to I was going to wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's all
Keep
good. But
going.
no, yeah, you can go ahead and pick it up where I'll
I'm going around the room.
mm-hmm.
Who else is there?
Who else?
Yeah. This is
Um,
the Adeliques, the
guess it,
Stokes, the
John and Ann
Washingtons.
McDermott, of
John and
course.
Ann McDermott, of course.
Yes,
Um,
and others. We get you. If we didn't get you, we'll get you before we're done. We got you. Okay. But just a phenomenal group of people with a lot of love and a lot of passion.
the Olsons.
Huh?
The Olsons.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Marion and
Mary,
oh, it's not Marion, is it?
no, Mary Ellen.
Ellen. Well, listen, if you're gonna put the Olsons out there, you have
I
to get their
just,
names right the
yes.
first time. So now I gotta search, make sure I get the Olsons
Yes. So,
correctly. Mm-hmm. Continue.
yes. I think that was
Jim.
it. Jim and Mary Ellen Olsen.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Our bad, Olsons. Hey, I mean, I'm a military retiree. What can I tell you? Information comes a little slow sometimes.
Yes. So,
Anyway,
are you just going this year or this year and last year? Just
whew,
this year?
just this year.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, we can shout out some folks from last year because I know you want the Stacyos, Mark and Charlene. Did you want to
Well,
shout
I
them
mean, you
out?
shout out the Kates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but the
this year.
Stacyos, yeah, Mark and Charlene, we
Mhm.
missed you guys this year, but
Yeah.
but it was great working with you last year. Um, the Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, I can see their faces. What's the couple? The tall couple.
The tall couple.
Yes, really tall. Monig,
The Monigs,
Scott and
yes.
Harriet Monig, and who else?
And Joseph and South Carolina. I mean, from Columbia.
Joe and Linda
Joel and Linda
Daniel.
Daniel.
I'm like
Oh,
Joseph.
isn't his whole name
Joe.
Joseph? Anyway,
I don't know. It might just be Joe.
let's get on with it.
But
Shall we?
yes, so when we ventured into ministry, and kind of follow God's lead for what we should do with marriage. We have just been blessed, like Mike said, blessed to have a number of people who have just come alongside us to help us continue that effort. So while we may not always remember every single name correctly, we definitely remember each of you personally. And we'll never forget you. And so we say that because I think it's appropriate for us to really talk about all the things that we're thankful for, because that's the time of year it is.
Oh, so it
Yes.
is
Yes.
Thanksgiving, and actually Thanksgiving represents the time of the year where Wendy and I remember our first Thanksgiving that we spent celebrating together was Thanksgiving 1997. So that would be
Mm.
21 years if you're doing the math right. Am I right about
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah.
97.
97.
Yeah, yep,
Yes.
21 years. So this will be
Uh-huh.
our 21st Thanksgiving. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, since that Thanksgiving in 1997, we have spent every single Thanksgiving together in some way, shape, or form. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep,
Every single one.
every single one. So, and that also is a Thanksgiving, by the way, that I blew Wendy's mind. I mean, I cooked Thanksgiving dinner, but it wasn't the turkey that did it. Y'all know the story. It wasn't turkey. It wasn't the yams. It wasn't the collard greens. It wasn't the stuffing.
No.
It wasn't. Um, Pretty much the spread was ridiculous.
It,
Homemade bread, yo.
it was the homemade bread. This man made bread from scratch. And to this day, I think that was the best batch of bread I have ever had in my whole life. Yes. So
Yes.
it was the bread that got me.
Yeah, and the truth is, I don't think I've made a batch that was that that good
Since
ever since. I didn't need to.
I don't
It
know.
was
Yeah,
done.
I guess. Yeah, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
So yeah, but so 20, yeah, wow, 21 years of Thanksgivings and
Mhm.
21 years of being thankful.
Yeah.
And so it it's been interesting, an interesting week, right? So we've been busy. It's always fun when people talk to us and they say, "Oh, I don't know how you guys do it. You seem to be so busy. You're doing like everything." And it's like, no, we're not doing everything. We're doing a lot though. Uh, oh, okay. But we are doing
Thank
a
you,
lot,
Keish. Appreciate that.
and it is a challenge. But we would not be able to do it, and we wouldn't be able to do it together if we weren't committed to each other and doing it together. It's intentional, right? And so, a lot of people set out to do things, but they don't always set out to do them together, right? And so if you don't set out to do it together, it makes it sometimes more difficult to come together later. If you don't start out in the same place and head out in the same direction, it makes it even more challenging because we can say that because we started out intentionally going in the same direction and being together, and it is still difficult to
Mhm.
do a lot of the things that we do, but it's because of God's grace and mercy and really fortifying us that we're able to do many of the things that we do. But at the end of the day, we do it because we want to be able to share some of what we know, um,
Not why I
and
do it.
and share some of what we have.
It's
But we
not.
want we want other people to be better because of it.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
not why you do it.
Why we
You
do
said not
this?
why I do it.
Well, you said because you were saying that we I mean, we do a lot of stuff and we do it together because we want to share. I thought are you saying we do this because we want to?
A lot of what we do.
No, a
I
lot
didn't
of.
say everything.
Oh, please listen. I do what
Hi,
I do.
Ashley.
Ashley, what's
Kiki.
up? Hey,
Mm-hmm.
listen. I do what I do because, well, it's a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
I love Wendy, but I like Wendy, right? And so, I do a lot of what I do because of that. I do a lot of what I do because I know it'll if not make her happy, it'll at least bring some, you know, some calmness. And so along the way, maybe we share some things if we thought they were effective, we thought it worked, it whatever. Maybe we share those, but um, I think it's important to share, but not only the things that work, but also some of the things that have not worked. And I wanted to mention before you got too far off your initial point. Um, it's important to be intentional about coming together, because the longer you're together for some, I mean, some people know those couples where it's like, man, you know, every day is a date, and I can just talk to you all day, every day, like nonstop, just like back in the day. I mean, I'm sure those people are there. I just don't know any of them, and
Yeah,
so people will
they're
often,
there.
well, they're there, but I think there's certainly some intention about that. People will
Yes.
often um, expect the marriage to be what it was in the very beginning, in terms of the level of, you know, how you can, y'all know, you get on the phone and you talk, even though we
Mm-hmm.
didn't really talk much on the phone, but
No,
typically
but we talk.
we talked a lot. We talked
We
quite a
did.
bit. But
Uh-huh.
that was more, but it was like I was visiting a lot,
Well, I
like
was gonna
face
say
to
we didn't
face.
talk on the phone a lot because it
Right. I was
wasn't.
like,
We only talked on the phone when we did talk. We talked like for hours,
yeah,
and then like in 2 weeks he moved in.
I did not move in. Let the record show.
That is
No,
why we didn't talk on the
no.
phone a lot.
Let the record show.
You
I did not.
you visited and you never
I
left.
did. Well, I no. I went back home and I got stuff, got clothes and stuff, and you know, I didn't move in. I didn't get a key. I didn't take a key because
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I can't move in. It's only moving in once you have a key. But
Oh.
let the record show, boys and girls, I did not move in. But I visited for a very long time, just like, you know, long time. And so, I mean, but even then, you know, we talked, and
Mhm.
every Saturday was like a holiday, and that extended really
Yeah.
into Korea after we got married. It's like there's so many things to learn, and then it feels like you're running out of gas in terms of new things to learn. So then you begin to
Mhm.
think, you know what, I got it, and then you recognize that you don't. And so
Yeah.
some people will be frustrated by that.
Yeah.
But first of all, Ashley said, "Oh, it sounds like you moved in." Like, ah ha ha, LOL. No, Ashley,
Right.
I did not. Everything is not what it looks like or sounds like. Okay, can't read a book by its cover. Anyway,
Mhm.
my business, Ashley. So, she made. I forgot. I got off track of what I was saying. But bottom line is,
Mhm.
there's a lot to learn. Um, even after you've been together for a long time,
Mhm.
it's just, it doesn't flow as easily. So you have to intentionally figure out ways to learn things, have discussions, and I would even say, don't be afraid to have discussions about things you've talked about before. Things change. Times of year like this,
Yeah.
they're good because it gives you an opportunity to, um, even tonight we're talking about what we're thankful for, and so
Mhm.
maybe this is an opportunity to remind, your wife, remind your husband what they mean to
Yeah.
you, right? Even if it feels corny, don't worry about corny. There is no corny in marriage. You can say what you want to say, as gushy or whatever as it is. It doesn't matter what your normal personality type is. Say what you
Mhm.
need to say with no shame.
Yeah.
It'll pay big dividends.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because you say remind the other person, right? But
Mm-hmm.
even in doing that, you're reminding yourself.
Oh yeah, that's
I
true.
think it's important to reflect from time to time, especially when you're finding it difficult to remember why you like or love that person, right? We all have those days. And so if you can go back and reflect on what made you fall in love in the first place, or not even that, maybe what made you like this person, what did you like about him, what did you like about her, and how that drew you in, right? Because sometimes there are things that we like that it may not be, those things may not be what we fell in love with. It was just those some things that we like you might want to go through and make a list of all of the things, and it's not just what I love about you, but because I've seen that, what I love about you, or like we have a little book, what I love about you, or what I love about us, but
Mm-hmm.
what I like about you. And so as you reflect on that, and you share that with the other person, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a good way to kind of build them up and bring you closer together.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Gloria Hamilton. Are they
Hello.
y'all? Were y'all out of town?
Yeah, they were on a cruise
Okay,
for 2 weeks.
2 week cruise. Haha. Hey, listen to that, y'all. 2 week cruise. How many of you can say you did that? That's some investment, like time and everything. I love it. We're gonna do that when we grow up. So,
Yes.
um, but but I think it's important to In fact, I think it's great, right? To spend some time even alone, just writing down some things. This is what I love
Mm-hmm.
about you. This is what is really cool about you. This is what really makes me smile. I don't know, whatever it is, and just really think about those
Yes.
things, because a lot of times you forget.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, and Wendy doesn't know, or when she's sleeping, I'll look at her and just remember, just remember, um, wow, I look at her and I'm like, wow, this is that girl that I met at Walter Reed in 1997.
Mm.
And just kind of reflect and be like, man, you know what? I got her. It's like, I got her. She's mine. And so I remind myself of that. And I remind myself of the things that were really special about her. Those things that there was a point I couldn't put words to them, right? But I think it's important to be able to find the words to put to them. And once you find the words, share them.
Mm. Yeah, that's good because and I mean, how often do we do that, right? You can have a thought or you're in a good place and you're thinking about something good and you're like, yeah, it's going down tonight. And then you see that person and they do something that gets on your nerves. And then it's like, wah, wah. It was going down, but now it's not going down because you just reminded me that you get on my nerves. How many times have we been caught in that trap?
I don't
Right?
know. How many times have we been caught in that trap?
It
I want,
happens.
does it? I guess, I
Yeah.
guess I better be quiet and mind my business.
You
Mm.
know, but I mean, and that's just the thing, right? You don't get to just take the good and the good only, or the things that you like and the things that you like only. It is a balance and a mixture of all of those things. 'Cause it could be something that you didn't like at one point that you now like. It's kind of like being a kid and hating to eat liver, and then you become an adult and you like it. You try it again and you like it.
Really?
What is that about?
What's your liver? I'm just wondering.
What?
I mean, you talking about something you didn't necessarily used to like, now you like it. And I'm like, well, what's your liver?
No, I wasn't talking about us.
I mean,
I'm
what?
talking to the people.
I mean, what? I mean, well, if we go, okay. I mean, if we're gonna talk to the people, I mean, I mean, a lot of that stuff that's like our stuff. I mean, so I'm just wondering what the
Y'all know
liver
what I'm
is.
talking about, right? So
I just because I've loved it all from day one.
from day one,
The whole all everything.
no, there's some things that you don't like. It
What?
could be things that I do, not necessarily things about me. So let me clarify. So it could be something that the person does, right? That just kind of gets under your skin. And so
Okay.
at one point they did it and it was okay. It was tolerable, or it wasn't a big deal, or it was just okay. And then at another point it's like, man, why do you do that? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why you do it. As
Mm-hmm.
if the person is doing it to you. And they're not. They are not doing it to you. It probably doesn't even have anything to do with you.
Okay.
But
it might have something to do with you. So I mean,
it might.
I'm not trying to be anybody's house. I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah.
So,
but you
Mhm.
know, so anyway, so like I said, so if you can get yourself, because it all starts here, right? It starts here. So what I'm thinking, what I'm believing, what I'm feeling ties into what I'm thinking and what I'm believing. Isn't that what you said? You spent like a whole month talking about it. I control my thoughts and my beliefs.
Yeah, I like how you took that whole month. You broke that thing down and like
Yeah,
that
that's
was
it.
that was about
Yeah,
10 seconds.
so
But yeah, how you feel starts with
mhm.
what you believe and how you respond to certain situations. Sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, but that's important though. And we should even do a love under pressure. See, oh yeah, hey,
Love under pressure.
love under pressure. Unique Mackey, holla at your boy, because I think
Mm.
that there might be something there, because we respond to okay, listen, y'all need to hear this. We respond to people. No, we respond to our spouse, wife, husband, sometimes like they're strangers.
Mm.
Right? We will interpret their behavior in the same way we would interpret perhaps someone else. Right? And so if you disrespect me or something, you say something that I find disrespectful, or at least I interpret as such,
Mm-hmm.
then my response is as if you are a stranger on the street who has done the same thing.
Yeah.
Clearly, I know, and see, this is all about what you know. I
Mm-hmm.
know that you love me. I know you respect me. I know that you value our relationship, etc. And if I know those things, it should change the way that I respond to you in our relationship.
Yes. However, if I'm in my feelings, somehow what I know isn't what's most prominent. It's not at the forefront,
Mm-hmm.
right? What I know takes a backseat to what I'm feeling.
Yeah, and that's why we are human beings, right? With the smartest thing on the planet, right? God made it that way. Why? Because we have to be able to separate that, right? There's what we feel, and that's how we bring ourselves back. We bring ourselves back by what we know, rather, right? So
Mm-hmm,
it's like I know
mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like I'm my anger, my what I'm feeling, but I know this woman loves me. I know she's not going anywhere, and so that should dictate
That was cute.
what
How you threw that in there? You were like, I know this woman loves me. I know she's not going anywhere. It was kind of like a footnote.
it is a
I mean,
footnote
it's
because
true, but
it's a footnote because I'm not, I don't
that was
concern
kind of
myself
funny.
with you. You ain't going nowhere. I know that. I mean, it's not even a question. And so I can take that off the table. And it's like, man, and by the way, you know what? I've done some things that have really kind of been annoying too. And so you begin to speak some facts to yourself. Then you begin to remind
Mm-hmm.
yourself what this is all about in the first place. The next thing you know, it dials it back just a little bit. Or maybe
Yeah,
for some people, just a lot. Right?
yeah, yeah.
That's just funny. To put the show out jacket on and act. Is that act fool act clown? Okay, so
Oh no.
all right, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Yes,
I
and
mean,
Michelle
I'm speaking.
Michelle Moore Wilson, thank you so much for sharing the comment that you made.
Oh
As
yeah,
I was
thank
saying
you.
it at the beginning of the time, we do this because we believe we have something to share. We believe we have something that might be able to help someone. We don't believe that we're the experts, and that's
Mm.
why it's a forum, right? Otherwise, we would just make videos and then post them. But we like to do it this way because it gives us the opportunity real time to hear from you, reflect from what you're sharing, and give back in the moment. And so
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that with us. But yeah, you're right. So when you make your list of all of the things that you like, right, and then all of the things that you love, how about making a list of all the things that you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That you know to be true.
Like what? What do you know?
I know that Mike will always be taller than me. so, so in that way, we will always compliment each other, right?
In that
So
way,
so there's some things that I know that God knew what
I
He
will
was
be hanging
doing
curtains for the rest of my life.
when He brought us
Rest of
together.
my life.
There, where I stop, He starts, right? Where He can make up the rest if if I'm coming up short.
Oh boy, Wendy's on a roll
Oh
tonight,
Lord.
people.
Okay, so
She got a million of
anyway,
them.
I mean that that
Oh
is so
goodness.
true, right?
Mm-mm-mm.
What do I know? I know that this man loves me more than he
That's
loves
better.
anyone.
Now
Actually,
we're getting to it. Good gracious.
like anyone.
Tall.
I'm
Tall.
sorry, fam, but it's true. Like everybody. Me, my number one fan.
She ain't even lying. I mean, forsaking all others, all others, you can consider yourself forsook.
Oh Lord. So
Oh boy.
I know that Mike is my best friend. And he's my best friend not because I say he's my best friend, but because he's my best friend. I mean, it's like, no, it's true. There's nothing that he can do that would make him not be my best
Really?
friend.
Okay.
He tries.
I don't know. I don't know about that one,
tries.
but I'm
He's my
satisfied
best
with
friend.
I'm
He's my
satisfied
best
with
friend.
being your man.
There's
forever.
no place I would rather be in the whole world than next to this man. So wherever we are together, that makes me happy. That's something that I know. Even when I want some personal space, I feel better about having my little me time when he's around or close by.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm just saying it's true. I mean, everybody has to
Accountability.
have some time to themselves, but when I'm just chilling out and doing nothing, yeah, I like
Hmm.
to do nothing with you.
Yeah, yeah. We
Yeah.
doing nothing is awesome. In
Mhm.
fact,
Mhm.
in fact,
Yeah.
I don't even know. Um, I, okay, this sounds crazy. Okay, so y'all just it sounds corny, whatever. But I really don't know what I did with that nothing time before we met. I don't know. I have no idea. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, it is. We when we met, I think when you really get the one,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's like if she is the one that I want to spend my time with, that is true,
Yeah.
100%. And so yeah, even though I mean, okay, so do I fish every now and then on an early morning? Yes, I do. I don't feel guilty. Sorry, not sorry. I don't feel guilty about it. But when we kind of made that adjustment and you started really coming on the boat and just hanging out, taking pictures,
Mhm.
that was like the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
But
awesome.
we talked about it too, though,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about a number of things, right? In the few weeks that we've been talking with you guys, we talked about some things, and we are not trying to say, "Hey, you need to just be all about." What? Yeah, I
Ashley,
know, right?
Ashley's on the road tonight too.
Anyway, look,
It's
you
like,
made me forget what I was saying, Ashley, with that last comment, but you're right.
it's like I didn't exist. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Um,
It's like I was took the red pill, got out the matrix. Mm.
So, oh, time to yourself, right? There. One of the things and one of the best things about being married is that you have somebody who can take care of you when you are too depleted, too weak, too tired, too worn out to take care of yourself. That's what it should be. And so when we talk about me time or having that time to kind of rejuvenate or kind of refresh or whatever it is that you have to do, and you just kind of step away for a second, the good news is that you have a partner there that's going to take up the slack, right? That's going to look out for you, always have your best interest at hand, always put you first. And so I think when we get into a mode of being wrapped up in ourselves, and we start to focus only on what we're not getting, and we start to get real selfish about what I'm getting out of this marriage, that's when we start to get off course, right? If we were only focused on what I'm putting into it and how I'm taking care of the other person in this marriage, I think that's when we're at our best. What you
Yes,
think?
and I could not agree more. So
What are you distracted by?
I'm not distracted at all. I
Yeah,
could
you
not
are
agree
not
more. I'm
telling
not
the truth.
distracted. Look at roll the tape. Not distracted.
Uh-huh.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but no, I agree more. I couldn't agree more rather, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, it's some things, London Bois, right? You know London
Yeah.
Bois,
We know
right?
London. London
London,
and
London and
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were at this men's retreat a few years ago, and what was happening, we were having some really great presentations, right? But what was
Mm-hmm.
happening is somebody would come behind that and elaborate on what we just heard, but it wasn't as powerful as what we just heard.
Mm-hmm.
So after about the fifth time, London was like, okay. He walks up to the front because he was moderating or
Mm-hmm.
emceeing. And he was like, okay, when when somebody leaves it and they leave it here, we want to stay here. He said, don't come in here and bring us here. Just here. Right? They say it, drop the mic, let it ride. So sometimes you just need to drop the mic. And so that point you just had us right there. And so
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I got nothing to say. Yeah.
You're right.
You're right. Nothing more.
Yeah. So, or a spouse that forces you to take time off. Yes, because maybe that spouse that forces you to take time off, not that they're being selfish about you, but maybe they see something that you're unable to see
Mm-hmm.
because you're not taking the time off.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind. Just maybe. I mean, that doesn't mean that Big John is not being selfish with you, because we all know. that he can be.
But I mean, yeah, sometimes selfish is okay, right?
Mine.
Sometimes selfish is, it can be a mutually beneficial thing, right? To go ahead and just give in to the selfishness, because oftentimes, I mean, we give so much, and I know a lot of people who are watching this and who will watch it can relate to the fact that we give a lot when we go outside. We put on our best face, our best clothes, we go out there and we grind, and then we come home and what we have are remnants, and we're kind of operating on E.
Whew.
And so it is really important. And maybe, the holidays are a great time to begin to reflect and to kind of, scale back a little bit and to focus on the things that are most important.
Yes.
Because the truth is, if you show up, or should I say, if you don't show up at work one day for whatever reason that is, and you are never coming back, guess what? In a matter of it depends, a couple of weeks, that thing will be turning like you never left. Right?
Yeah.
And so you are replaceable. I'm sorry, but it's true. Yeah, at work, wherever you work, you're replaceable.
Yeah.
But at home, you are irreplaceable. Right?
Yes.
There's one of each of you, period. And so, but if you look at the way we live our lives, you wouldn't necessarily see that in the way that we live our lives and distribute our time. And please, nobody give me the whole, but you got to work, you got to make, I got it. Mm-hmm. And yet you have somebody that you're committed to, that you need to take care of in every way, not just a paycheck, not just because you showed up, but to really be able to take some time and be there, be present, be together, connected. That's important.
Yeah, because even though some of us get spoiled by our lifestyles, which I'm not going to call out any names, but some of us get spoiled by our lifestyles, right? But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, would you rather have the time or the things, right? What is it that you value the most? One recurring argument, I shouldn't say argument, discussion that has come up every few years in our marriage, because I don't know about y'all, but we have these in our marriage.
Okay.
Is, I will say, okay, so there are two, right? One is, why is it that whenever I call you, the call doesn't go through? Who's had that discussion? Why is it that my calls don't go through, but it seems like everybody else's calls get through? Anybody else had that one? That comes up often.
Okay, you know what?
On both sides. But that's not the
one. Wait a minute. You said both sides, but you brought that one up, though.
Yeah, but that's not the one.
But you said on both sides. I would say more frequently on her side, because I recognize, I don't know what call she's taking or not. I don't know when her calls are dropping or not. I just don't know. But I know she'd be fussing about it. So if you're going to fuss about it, you just probably need to pick your phone up.
So the other one is, I don't want what you have left, right? I want your best, not what's left. And so it's, why is it that I have to even sometimes witness you pouring out and giving all of your energy, all of your focus, all of your time, all of your interest, to all of these things or all of these people. And then at the end of the day, I get what's left. That one, that kind of recycles. And that's not just mine. That's his too. But yeah, so when you said remnant, it made me remember that one comes up, because it's like, man, I deserve your best, right? But instead of really focusing on what you get, and if you feel like you're getting what's left or you're getting a remnant, ask yourself, what am I giving? Am I giving my best, or am I giving you what I have left? Because I know you're not going nowhere.
I'm gonna take whatever you can get and ride on out. The spouse filter on the iPhone, what is that? Is that a real thing, or is that just like nobody gets? You don't pick up for anybody but spouse
filter.
I must know, Dexter. I don't know what that is.
Explain.
I don't know what it is, but I will tell you that if you know me, if you call me ever and you got that voicemail at the one ring, or if you've called and it's just rung and gone to voicemail out there, it is altogether possible I've been sitting with Wendy and knew you were calling and did not answer intentionally. Because the truth is, people, another news flash, a phone call is a request. A request that says, hey, I have a few minutes and I would like to speak to you if you have a few minutes and would like to speak to me as well at this time.
Yes.
right? And so if that person for some reason does not answer the phone, can we please stop like sweating people? Can we please stop saying, "Hey, I called you, and then I texted you, and then I called you again, and I know," or the old, "I cannot believe that you sent me the voicemail." I'll believe it. You got, you just got sent the voicemail because I'm with my baby, and that's just the way it is. All right, so let's give people a little bit of, let's take it back to the 70s when
The line is busy.
the line is busy, or somebody picks up. Back in the day, I mean, I don't know, it's funny. I won't start back in the day, but I like how people speculate on voicemail too, right? This is a quick aside. They'd be like,
You just gave me
"Hey,
an idea.
okay, I got."
Go ahead.
They'd be like, "Hey, you know what? Hey, this is me, and I guess you must be busy, or you must be shopping for groceries, or you must be." I mean, people they fill in all kind of blanks, and I'm like, where did you get your evidence for which you're speculating? I don't understand. Anyway, I digress. Bottom line is, don't feel ashamed about really coveting your time, right, with the person that you're supposed to love most, and don't be ashamed about making sure that people don't encroach on that time, on their time. Yeah. So it's yours, right? So you get to decide if you're gonna disrupt that or not.
Right. And you decide how much you share, right? How much you give of yourself to everything else. That includes ministry. Because sometimes, we talk about pouring out. So we talk about work, but
Mm-hmm.
so let's talk about us. So we have work, we have our jobs, the thing that we commit to so that we can eat. And then we have ministry, which is, where we put in a lot of work, almost as much work as we put in at work.
Probably.
Yes. And so, yeah, okay. Right. So, and then so even with ministry or your commitment to a community effort or some other service that you perform, even that can hijack your time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you really have to protect your time, cover your relationship, and establish those boundaries. I mean, I think we end up talking about boundaries almost every week, but maybe not every week. But establish those boundaries around your marriage.
Yeah, and because a lot of in fact, we were at a men's breakfast just this past weekend, and the speaker mentioned something. He said that, and he's a pastor. He said the church is like my mistress. It's like, I'm just saying, in terms of,
I think that's a book.
Is it a book? Oh, that wasn't his. But whatever. Anyway, maybe it's his book.
It's not his book.
It might be his book. I'm sure. I think he wrote it. Anyway, but just how there's this draw and there's this pull, and it's difficult to say no, and you're where you're supposed to be, and yet there's this other thing, this calling, this mission, this something that's constantly pulling, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that we gotta reset a little bit and understand what the real mission is, because we can't go out here and listen, don't get me wrong, right? We all have our days, trust me on that, but we can't go out here, speaking all the right things and living something totally different.
Yes. Say that again.
We can't go out here speaking all the right things and living something totally different. Did my hand do this?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think you did this.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. And, in terms of that is so true, mm-hmm. whether it's the church or work or whatever it is, if you get addicted to, or you start to seek out the attention and the reward that you get, it's about an emotion. It's about a feeling. I'm needed. And so they need me. I gotta go cook this food. I gotta go, set up this clothes pantry. I gotta go, whatever it is. And then there's this recognition or reward that comes along with that. And in that place, I'm appreciated, but I'm not getting that from you, because what I'm getting from you is, why aren't you here? Why aren't you, blah, 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 not, oh, you are just everything.
Whoa. I mean, if somebody's doing all that and this.
Yes. I need you to be here with me, because I can't do what needs to be done without you. You are everything to me.
So listen, people, a lot of people, goodness.
Here, right here.
You mean like, are you, is right this windy, or is this like?
I'm giving a
You're like
visual.
the okay, and I mean because
That's the draw. But
that's
that's what it feels like.
well, that's what it feels like, and I think
Yeah.
I'm glad you hit on it because it's that appreciation factor. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people can kind of get caught up because out there where they're doing all that work and grinding,
Mm-hmm. It's like,
they get
what?
the accolades. You're the greatest. You're the best. We love you.
Yay!
Couldn't do it without you.
Mike is here.
And
Mike
so
is here.
people go for the reinforcement of that, and it's like, and then they go home and be like, well, why can't you validate me in the same way? Why can't you
Yeah.
appreciate me in the same way?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, if those people live with you 24/7, they wouldn't be your cheerleader either. All
So.
every day, all day. I mean, that's just
Woo.
let's be real about it,
They
right?
be telling you to go
Because
home.
it's easy to appreciate somebody or to show them some some love for this thing, this transactional thing that you do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But and it's temporary. It's hit and miss. It's just like the way that we glorify athletes and actors and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did a good job, and I love what you do, and all that. Living with somebody and being committed to them is different,
Yes.
right? Now, Wendy, I think at the Weekend to Remember, did it do the be your husband's cheerleader thing, or was that last year?
That was last year.
Last year, they talked about being your husband's cheerleader, and hey, I'm all about that. Cheer for me, poms, whole 9 yards. However, I recognize that you can't be cheering every day, all day, right? It just sometimes looks different at home. And I think if you were to really kind of divide it out and look at how much, how many shout outs, accolades, compliments, whatever you get at home compared to what you get out away from home, a lot of times it may actually, the numbers may be more similar than you think. But at home, it's an all day, everyday proposition. And so I think it's important for us to not be so drawn to those little things that people say out there, and I was about to say in the street, but in the church or at work or whatever, all those things that make you feel good. Recognize if you're somebody who needs your ego fed, recognize that and don't get caught in the trap of seeking that out outside of your home. So
yes, because attention seeking and people pleasing both are things that can actually I mean they are traps, right? We get into a habit and a cycle of doing things to elicit, like a drug, right? Because I said addicted, to elicit that same response. And so then it goes or maybe grows to a bigger scale. And then it's like, okay, and then you start comparing. And then it's like, well, why does this person seem to appreciate me more? Why does this place seem to embrace me more? When, it comes back to really you, right? And what it is that you're giving and what you're doing and the purpose behind why you're giving what you're giving and what you're doing. So you're exactly right with that. Well, but it's easy to get caught up.
It's easy to get caught up. I'm about to be exactly right about one more thing, and then I'm gonna shut it down for the night.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
go ahead, baby.
So
you are gonna be right about this.
I'm about to be right 100% right on this, because check this out. We oftentimes, for those of us who, and I say us because I want this to be inclusive. I mean you. But for those of us, no, I mean sometimes I think it's me too. Yeah. But for those of us who are who appreciate, getting some good feedback and positive feedback, and then we come back home and say, oh, why are you not giving me feedback? Here's the truth. Here's the ugly little truth that if you search yourself, you'll know is true. And that is, if you put the level of effort and energy, contrition, forgiveness, all that into your home life, you would get that in spades. Why? Because we walk out of here, right? We walk out with an attitude or whatever. And then we show up, door open, lights on, boom, completely different person. We can totally cut off all that anger, all that foolishness, and be someone that that has charm and someone that people like.
Right.
Why would they not compliment you? You're like charming, right? And then somebody will do something, they may do something, they may make a mistake or whatever. Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it, right? But at home, you're all judgmental, like, what's wrong with you, right? And so if we had the same level of grace and compassion and charm and wit and humor and all that stuff that we pour out, I'm talking to me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It would be a completely different ball game. Your sex life would change, right? Really? Yes. I mean, all the things that you say you want would change, because either A, they would happen, B, you wouldn't care, right? So we need to really check ourselves and put that energy that we, the energy we use to put on that face that we want everybody else to see. How about let's bring a little bit of that back to the house?
Mm.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Wow. Yeah, you said that. You can drop your mic over there,
I'm done.
Mike.
I'm done.
No, I mean, but you're right. You bring up some really good points. And so, Jeff Hill, thanks for joining us. Latazla Gardner, thank you for joining
Hey.
us. And Sonia Merritt Lacewell, good gracious. I've been in Georgia too long. Thank you for joining us. And so, yeah, I mean, but you're exactly right. And again, taking a look at ourselves. So this time of year is a time to reflect on the things that you're thankful for, but it's also a time to just reflect, to kind of reset, right? So the holidays give us an opportunity not to overcompensate for where we came up short, but to reset, and it's time to get it right, right? To kind of rewrite some wrongs, correct some wrongs.
Guess you can right the wrongs and
Right the wrongs, rewrite the wrong.
rewrite
Yeah.
history or your story or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. But it's a time, and truthfully, it doesn't have to be the holidays. At any point in time, you can stop and recommit, and you can say, "Hey, we need to get off of this, this crazy thing. We need to get off of this cycle of whatever it is, regardless of how we got here, and declare that starting now, this is what it's going to be,
Yes.
right?" And then just change it, make a decision to change it, and then start to make the steps to make that happen. That starts with really talking and listening and having truthful honest conversations about what's been missing, what's been good, what's been missing, and where do we go next. That is so important, whether you're at year 1 or year 51.
Yeah.
It's so important to reconnect.
Yep, it is. Talk about when you talk about what's missing, talk about the things maybe that you need, things that might make you feel however you want to feel, right? But it's important to keep things, talk about you and less about what somebody is not doing, right? Because it's easy for people to defend. Well, you never do this shit, don't do that, blah blah blah. No, maybe it's, hey, I would really appreciate this. I really need this to feel that, whatever it is, right? But keep it more self-focused, and I think it'll make it a little easier to dial back some of the defensiveness that sometimes pops up.
Yeah, because what we do is, yeah, okay, well, that's nice that you would like that, but until
Well,
you do this, then I'm not going to do that. And we get into that. Let's be truthful. We get into that. It's okay. You don't get into that. We get into that, right? It's okay. It's nice. I'm glad you're able to communicate what you would like, or what would be nice, or what you would appreciate. But until you start demonstrating some of that, I'm not in a place where I'm ready to do it. And I say that to say, when we talk to couples that are having difficulty, we often meet them at that place, right? It's like somebody has to make the first move. And so what we're suggesting is that you both sit down and agree to make the first move together. Because, and I know Mike has a thought on that, but again, I mean, how long do you keep going this way? And if you say, hey, you know what, I'm done with this one, it can't be fixed, I just can't see any way out of this, right? And you leave the relationship that you're currently in, just know that it's only a matter of time until the next relationship you end up in the same place.
Oh, come on, baby. I thought we trying to end this thing on a high note.
We are. I'm so just saying,
But here's one thing I'll say, and I don't. You're not wrong, right? But you're right. I do see one of the things you said in a different way, and that is,
But I knew that you saw it.
What way is it? So
I know what you're gonna say.
And then
whose responsibility it is.
Well, I'm just gonna say, men, step up and do what you need to do, no matter what happens. She says, but what somebody has to take the first step. No, what you need to do, brother, is stand still, right? Stand still and do what you need to do, and you won't. And oftentimes you won't like it, and you'll think this is not fair, or this is I don't want to. Blah. Yeah, right. If you stand still and do what you need to do, then she'll find you. But you got to stand still. So That is all. Hey, listen, we're Inside Marriage, y'all. It's
Yes.
Mike and Wendy.
Yeah, and this
That's
is
it.
it for 2018.
Oh,
So
is
this
it?
is our last time we're going to be joining you guys for the next month. We are actually taking some time off so that we can do exactly what we've been sharing with you. Really, kind of refocusing on each other, and setting things straight as we go into the next year. And we encourage all of you to do the same. So from our family to yours, happy Thanksgiving. And then happy holidays. I guess it'll be Merry Christmas. And then it'll be Happy New Year before we see you again.
Yeah, we might slip in there just like, in random things at
No,
some point.
no,
We might.
no.
But anyway, hey, love you too, Ashley. I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
Ashley's
thank you
like,
for supporting us. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for sharing. And we
Yes.
will see you in 2019. Yes. So join us in 2019 for another look inside marriage. God bless.
God bless. Bye, y'all.